As she walked through the massive gates, her mind kept replaying the promise she had just made, and Damian's voice echoed in her ears. When I call on you, you will say yes. His voice echoed like a curse. She tried convincing herself she had done the right thing. It was for her brother. Nothing else mattered. That night, a loud knock shattered the silence of her apartment. Her heart pounded. She rushed to the door. Standing there, weak but alive, was her younger brother, Kendrick. His face was bruised. His clothes were dirty, but he was alive. Kendrick! Linda collapsed to her knees as she wrapped her arms around Kendrick. Tears streamed down her face as she held him tightly, afraid that if she let go, he would disappear again. She threw her arms around him, unable to stop crying. He hugged her tightly. I thought I'd never see you again. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Later that night, after Kendrick had fallen asleep, Linda sat alone in the kitchen. Something wasn't right. The kidnappers had asked for millions. She hadn't paid a single naira, yet Kendrick had been released. Why? Only one man knew. Damian Moretti. The next morning, Kendrick finally spoke about what had happened. I never saw their faces. They kept me in a dark room. They kept saying they were waiting for permission. Permission from who? Linda asked. Kendrick shook his head. I don't know. But after a while, someone arrived. What happened? The room suddenly became quiet. The men who kidnapped me, they sounded scared. One of them said, Kendrick hesitated. He said, the devil has spoken. Linda felt cold. She already knew who they meant. Days passed, weeks passed. Everywhere was calm for Linda except her heart. It was troubled, wondering when the devil will call and what he would ask from her. One night at about 9 p.m., Linda had just closed from work when her phone rang. She looked at it. It was a private number. Her heart skipped for a moment. She already knew who it was. Come to the mansion, Damian said. The time has come for you to keep your promise. The call ended. Her stomach tightened. She remembered every word he had spoken. When I call on you, you will say yes. When Linda arrived, Damian was waiting in the same study. This time, there was another man with him. The man was tied to a chair, bruised and terrified. Damian looked at Linda. Do you know him? She shook her head. No. He leads the gang that kidnapped your brother. Linda froze. The man desperately pleaded. I was only following orders. Please, don't let him kill me. Damian slid a small pistol across the desk. Here's the promise I need you to keep. Her hands trembled. I want you to decide his fate. She stared at him in horror. I can't. You promised. I'm not a murderer. Damian's cold eyes never left hers. Neither was I. Once. Silence filled the room. The kidnapper kept screaming, I have children. Please. Tears rolled down Linda's cheeks. Finally, she pushed the gun back toward Damian. I won't do it. You'd let him walk free after what he did? No. Then what? She took a deep breath. Hand him over to the police. Damian laughed quietly. The police? They'll never protect anyone from your world. Maybe not, she replied. But if I become like him, then they already win. For the first time, Damian smiled. A real smile. He untied the prisoner. The terrified man looked confused. Then Damian's guards dragged him out of the room. Linda looked at Damian with confusion. You were testing me. Yes, said Damian. The promise was never about killing someone. Damian nodded and continued. I wanted to know whether your heart would survive this world. She stared at him. Damian handed her a file. Inside were bank documents, property papers, a letter. Your brother made one terrible mistake. He borrowed money from dangerous men after trying to save your late mother's business. When they came for him, I stepped in. You saved him? I owed your father a debt. Linda blinked. My father? Yes, your father, said Damian. Years ago, he saved my life without knowing who I was. He refused money. He simply said, one day help someone else instead. Damian looked away. I've been trying to repay that debt ever since. Linda couldn't speak. Everything she believed about him began to crumble. You let me think you were the villain. In my world, Damian answered quietly, sometimes being feared keeps innocent people alive. Months later, Linda and her brother Kendrick rebuilt their lives. She opened a luxury restaurant overlooking the sea. On opening day, a familiar black car stopped outside. Damian stepped out alone. No bodyguards, no weapons. He placed a single white rose on the counter. For the woman who kept her promise without losing herself. Linda smiled. And for the man everyone called the devil, who turned out to be the one who saved us. Damian gave a slight nod. Then he walked away, disappearing into the morning fog. Some promises destroy lives. Others reveal who we truly are. And sometimes, the man the world fears the most is carrying the kindest heart of all.